This right here is the Yonex Power Cushion Cascade Drive 2. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now, if you've been on my channel, you've probably seen my review on all of Yonex's high-end badminton shoes, but we can't skip over the rest of their lineup. Today, we're gonna take a look at these Yonex Power Cushion Cascade Drive 2. What stands out about this shoe and the Cascade series is that they're what I would consider to fall in Yonex's mid to high-end shoe range. This is the second version of this shoe, with the version 1s being released back in 2021. Most of the other shoes that I've already reviewed are the flagship models like the 65s, the Eclipsions, Eris, or Comfort Z3s, because they're probably what you see most professional tour players playing in, but you can't overlook these, and I'm gonna get through reviewing shoes of all different budget levels so that you guys can have an idea of how they compare. Now let's get into it. Let's first talk a little bit about the design and technology in these Cascade Drive 2s. I was in for a treat because after filming the first portion of this video, I actually had the honor of meeting Hirotoshi Shindo, who is the Yonex footwear designer behind these beauties. We got to chat a little bit about the design of these shoes and how they came up with the name Cascade, which actually is an ode to the waterfall-like free-flowing details on the shoe. At first glance, when I saw the shoes, I actually thought that they were a tennis or multi-purpose indoor shoe. I mean, they look so good. And that's because they have quite a bit of this synthetic, durable skin material overlaying the normal shoe fabric. This was similar in the first version of these Cascade Drives and similar to many of Yonex's tennis shoes. As you can see here on the version 2s, the durable skin doesn't wrap all the way around the side of the shoe like it did on the first generation. This material definitely isn't as common on the highest end shoes, but it looks like a really durable material as it's pretty thick. And then the rest of it is mostly a breathable, weaved fabric material. One of the biggest differences on this shoe compared to their other flagship models is that they will have your traditional power cushion throughout the shoe instead of the highest grade Power Cushion Plus. In addition to this, if you take out the insole, you will see that it does have a more basic insole. It's not as thick, nor does it have the wavy ridges for grip that, for example, the 65Zs have, but Yonex does call this a memory foam insole. Radial blade outsole. No surprises here. Initially, it was introduced to all of the high-end models first, but it looks like this outsole pattern is becoming pretty standard across all of Yonex's shoes. The one piece of technology that it doesn't have compared to the higher-end models is also the power graphite sheet, and that's apparent because usually when you look at the bottom of the shoes, you can see that power graphite sheet, whereas here, you just don't see it at the bottom at all. Now let's check these out on the scale and see how they compare to some of Yonex's other models. For my size 9.5 or 27.5 centimeters, it looks like they're coming in at just a fraction over 300 grams. That means they're sitting right in between the Eris, which weighs about 250 grams, and the 65Zs, which are about 330 grams. They felt pretty light considering most of the high-end models are all over 330 grams, aside from the Erises. Now, I took these onto the court for quite a few sessions to see how they would feel. As far as looks, I honestly think these might be one of my favorite designs. I feel like I would even wear these to the gym casually or for cross training. Outside of the badminton court, these also might be a great shoe for pickleball if that's what you're getting into. Initially, I wasn't quite sure what to expect, especially getting into a shoe like this. The main takeaway that I got from these is that they felt a little flatter, and I got that lower to the ground feeling that I get from the Erises. Because they did feel more flat, my arches were a little sore in the first few sessions before I broke them in. That could also be because I have high arches and the insoles are thinner and just aren't meant for arch support. It took a little bit of time for my feet to mold to the memory foam insole that is supposed to adapt to your foot shape. Pretty easy fix here since I usually play with my custom orthotics anyways, and that fixed the problem. They also felt a little more narrow than some of the other normal fit shoes. Again, very similar to the Eris in my opinion. For some reason, the heel area seems to look extra high, maybe because they look exaggerated from the back, but if I put them side by side with my Comfort Z3s, they're actually about the same height in the heel tab, so a non-issue for me there. Back to the basic insole. These insoles were fine, but I did notice that in my singles movement, when I started moving at full speed that there was a tiny bit of slippage between my socks and the insoles. This wasn't ideal because this is how you can get blisters, but as my feet started to mold to the shoe, I did notice that this became less and less of an issue. Sometimes new shoes just take time to break in. This can also be avoided if you just simply replace the insoles with your own orthotics, or if you want, Yonex even sells a Power Cushion Plus insert that you can just replace the factory insoles with. As far as sizing, I would say that they're pretty true to size. However, because they tend to feel a little narrow, they can feel tighter. So if anything, I would recommend going a half size up if you don't want to stay true to size. Let's go over some of the different colorways and pricing for this shoe. Today I have with me the two newest colorways in the matte white and gray, and also the white with mint green, which I was just wearing. However, there are quite a few other colorways, including darker colorway options like an all blue, a neon yellow with blue accents, light blue with white and some red accents, and also a black with turquoise and yellow detailing. This model is going to be unisex, so no separate colorways between the men's and the women's. As far as pricing, I mentioned earlier in this video that these shoes are going to be your medium to high end tier. From what I'm seeing, they're going to run you closer to about $100 US, which I think is a great price point for these shoes, especially if you don't have the budget to shell out upwards of $140, $150 for some of the highest end models. These Cascade Drive 2s would be your next best thing after your 65Zs, your Eclipsions, or your Arises. Overall, I was pleasantly surprised at how these shoes felt and performed. They looked extremely good on court, and I do really like a lot of the colorway options that are available. That being said, that's all that I have for you guys on these Cascade Drive 2s. I hope that this review was helpful for you guys. If it was, make sure you guys drop a like for me, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for my next video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.